Man. See what we looking like. Ain't no Pete. Ain't no Steel. It's just a load. Oh man. So look, it's the first time like I'm streaming to Instagram. My first time I'm streaming to Instagram. So between this stuff Charlamagne got going on, and the homie Court put up. Shout out to Big Court, Holding Court podcast.
Yeah, he was on once. I like him. It was cool.
Yeah, it should really be like I told him he needs an audience. It should be more like Arsenio Hall, where people clapping and he's sitting down, versus a podcast. I think we got to get back to the origins of stuff.
I agree.
But I notice when I have this conversation, like I get more clarity every day. The wisdom comes across every day. It starts to make sense every day. So it's dope to keep having to elaborate on it because I'm building on it every time I think about it. Like I'm always building on it. So this is No Ceilings Live, the lunch hour. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Pacific Standard Time. We do this live. Click that thumbs up button. Let everybody know you here. You know what I mean? Share it with a friend. Hit up the chats. Shout out to everybody in the chats. Andone, Squish, my boy, my brother Fats, my brother Craze, Gene 101, David Jones. I'm glad you back.
Yeah, David Jones, Vanilla Gorilla.
Yeah, all that. I can't believe we about to have this conversation again. But you know what? Hip hop has done. Yes, hip hop has done so many great things for me that I don't mind talking about it every day if I had to. Like this is how great it has been to my life. So I don't mind elaborating, sharing with you guys the work that I put in to understand what hip hop is about. And that's what we do on No Ceilings Podcast. This is a hip hop podcast. We not like other podcasts where we really a hip hop podcast denying it. We are very much a hip hop podcast. You know what I mean? Even if we ain't talking about rap songs all the time, we always having a conversation about that word culture. So again, this is No Ceilings Live, the lunch hour, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Pacific Standard Time. Right here. Click the thumbs up button. Let everybody know you here. Share with a friend. Go into the description. Subscribe to the No Ceilings Podcast on Apple Podcasts, iHeart Podcasts, or anywhere you get your podcasts at. No Ceilings Podcast, executive produced by Charlamagne the God, Black Effect, and the iHeart Network. We did a great podcast. It dropped yesterday. Conversations about handling people's dream. And again, this is one of those conversations that bleeds into another live stream where we talking about handling people's dream. And a lot of people's dream is weirdly to feel like they belong to this space that we call hip hop. And a lot of people would like to reduce hip hop down. I brought my brother Trap from ADHD, one of the greatest communities for modern hip hop. You know what I mean? They do a lot of great stuff on Twitter, a lot of great stuff on Instagram, but on Clubhouse, they have really great conversations. And he's a brother from Queens. He ain't from the Bronx, but he close enough. He close enough to to have some ownership of this thing that we call hip hop. Shout out to Squishy. Are we going to SoFi as a family in May? You know what? I thought about going to SoFi to stream the podcast live, but I think it would be such a troll move, Squishy, like, because the intentions would be just to show off the relationship with my boy, you know what I'm saying, versus really having a reason to be there. I could go just to watch it because I like the records that much, but maybe we could keep talking about it. But again, we're gonna get back.
Definitely above a troll type of anything.
Yeah,
so we know that. You would never, ever.
Yeah. I can't.
He's a troll. He be trolling.
I never troll.
No.
Never in life.
Saying it's the best West Coast album ever created, though. That's a troll.
I've never said that.
That's a troll.
I never in life said that. That's a lie. I never said that. Don't do that.
You're gonna end up saying it by the end of by next year.
No. It's no. It's hard to top. Okay, so what makes this really great is, again, it's such a dive into culture where he owns the culture, the space of it, right? So it's hard to beat when you first discover culture, like the Renaissance as it starts to happen. You know what I mean? So the first time, people saw G-Thing, it's going to be hard for this album to top the Chronic. Now, I am going to give it a fair chance and jam it. It's going to be hard for it to top Doggy Style. Like all this discovery culture where the music and the sonics were high level just as this was. So it's going to be hard for those to top. But in a time where there's a cultural desert, where everything is pasteurized and everybody talks exactly the same. They all use the internet words and they call each other gang and they use the term glaze and all the internet slang that they made up, because it's like it's hard for this hip hop to ever beat that hip hop.
Yeah, that's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? It's like the last great cultural movement in hip hop was drill. That's the last time we got this surplus of street urban slang, ops, packs, drill, all that fly stuff, the whole way the brothers wore their uniform, how they fashioned themselves. That was the last great cultural movement that we've gotten in hip hop.
Did drill stop the world?
Yeah.
It did?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, drill was like a real thing.
The whole movement of it stopped the world, not a song.
Shout out to Kay. I haven't saw you in the chat. Kay, much love and welcome to the No Ceilings Lunch Hour. Ben Baller, No Culture ass said he skipped every song. Ben Baller just loyal to Drake, man. Ben Baller come from the culture, but he just loyal to Drake. And again,
you're not saying with the West Coast?
No, because Ben is like a
West
low,
Coast and a motherfucker.
Yeah, but Ben also like Drake. I don't know how much money Drake spent with him. But there's no way Drake being ear could hear this and be like, I skipped all the songs, because he's culturally one of us. Don't let his skin fool you. That dude is one of us. But again, I get it when I wouldn't do it for Dot. I wouldn't lie for Dot. I don't care how cool we are. If I don't like something, I don't like it. I'm not finna, be that. But Ben saying he skipped every track is just cap. Straight. Shout out to Ben. Ben is my low. He know my low, but that's cap. Don't even pay Ben no attention. He's just trying to stay on Drake's good side, which he don't understand.
Spent a lot of money with him.
Yeah, and that's all over with anyway. So
hold on. I think you guys think that it's about him having, Drake made a bunch of money with this guy. No. People, look, you gotta pucker that ass up right now. People got to lawyer up. You got to be careful. You don't want to find yourself caught in court with this shit. You got to tighten it up.
Drake throwing cases on all the motherfuckers.
It's better to lie before you get on the stand so that you don't get on the stand. You don't want to lie up there.
Teef, what's happening? Shout out to my brother Teef, one of the main contributors of ADHD. What's the deal? So again, we back to this. I did a dope sit down with the homie Court from Kansas City. And this was later on in the conversation. This is around 2023. This is last year sometime. And the initial conversation about particularly the artists being hip hop, and then understanding what street urban culture was in hip hop. The first time I remember going live with the conversation was the Breakfast Club interview back in 2020, right? Where I started to feel like I really understood what hip hop was and I felt empowered enough to speak about it. That was the first time I brought it to Charlemagne's ears and was like, yeah, certain artists are not hip hop. And it was a conversation we was having off air, but Charlemagne know the type of person I am. Like, since we met, I always told him, I'm not going to say something to you that I can't say publicly. So you don't ever have to worry about that. Whatever we talking about, you could bleed it to the air. It don't matter. I mean it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not one of those kind of guys, because if I'm worried about somebody else hearing it, it shouldn't come out of my mouth. I stand by. There's nothing I say to Pete, nothing I say to Trap. I double down on everything I say. Y'all don't hear me behind the scenes calling men out their name. I don't really do that, because I'm gonna call you out your name in person if that's what I was gonna do. So I had the conversation with Court. It ended up bleeding years and years and years. Bootleg Kev, Court. So the Court clip resurfaced and it's like going viral. It's like 500,000 views on Instagram. It's 500,000 views on Instagram. It's 500,000 views on Instagram. It's thousands of comments at this point. And I noticed that we still having these same kind of rudimentary conversations. And again, most people are spoiled by this thing we call hip hop, like culture in general. People feel like they know what's going on just because they heard some songs. And I tell you that all the time. Trap, when we in ADHD, there's this entitlement that, Black people even have, where it's like, oh, I get what's going on. No, you don't. You don't get what's going on. You don't understand what's happening.
You hear it, you don't get it though.
Yeah, you hear it, you don't know it. You just hear the stuff. You just hear the music. So I'm looking at the comments, and again, it be these really simple comments. Oh, you're saying that about this person because they're mixed. What does that have to do with culture?
I hate when they do that.
Yeah, it's weird.
I hate when they do that.
There are white people that grew up street urban culture, like Al Capone, like Whitey Bulger, like there's a lot of white people who grew up in street urban culture. There are Jewish people who grew up in street urban culture. Meyer Lansky, the names are endless. And it's not all just criminals, the Beastie Boys. There are tons.
House of Pain or whatever, the jump around guy.
Everlast.
The dude,
Everlast is one of the most thuggiest dudes in the world.
I would say he a lot more hip hop than Drake. And I don't know Everlast's life from top to bottom.
Yeah, Everlast is serious. It's serious business. So
he passed away too. That's a shame. Did he?
Oh, Everlast passed away. No, he didn't.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm working on. I'm working on getting something done with Everlast.
Yeah, come on, Pete. Don't put that on somebody.
I didn't mean to put it on him like that. I thought that I had heard that or seen that online or something like that.
He just threw him in the grave just now.
Just right now.
Go in the grave.
So, but one of the first things I want to talk about.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, Everlast will fire
into that one.
Pete. Yeah, Everlast will fire shit. You'd be a squabble with Everlast. Everlast saw some shit. So again, let's break this down with hip hop. And shout out to Tommy T 1025 in the chat. Hip hop is whack. West Coast Barry G Funk. That's not.
Wow.
They're not disconnected like that. Like G Funk is hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
Bay Area mob music is hip hop. Yeah. Hip hop looks different depending on where you plant the seed at. But again, the culture only grows in certain climates, right? You couldn't plant a hip hop seed and grow an orchard in Beverly Hills. Now, that don't mean some people in Beverly Hills, shout out to Alchemist, can't be bathed in culture, right? But you will not grow an orchard. It will not be a flock of it. Like, we could take one seed and grow a poppy plant, right? Even you take a seed and you put it, you can grow like a coca plant in one pot and then light it and control the environment and grow one plant. You can grow probably a few plants, but you can never grow enough naturally to create a kilo of yay. It's just not going to happen.
There's a term called grafting. You can do this with certain trees, and if you're in the farming industry, where you have the tree, it grows up, right? The regular tree. You cut the main branches all off. You put branches of a new tree on, and it can grow out of the base of the other tree and bear fruit.
Yes. And I think that's the confusion. Shout out to That's So Boy. I never seen you in the chat, but I'm glad you're here, bro. Much love. Not where I'm from. Asians call y'all the N-word in California, not down here in Texas. No.
I ain't going with this southern ass bullshit now, man.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Only white people call y'all the N-word. And they don't call y'all the N-word like that. They call y'all the N-word and be tripping. So no, it's not Asians call us the N-word in the east, on the east side of Los Angeles, or Mexican people call us the N-word. They are N-words here.
Exactly.
Like in New York, Puerto Ricans and Cubans in their community are N-words. And I understand. I'm not trying to pass this off. I'm not trying to get you to go get your Asian partners and make them behave like you. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you don't understand what culture is. The culture of it.
Yo, I seen somebody saying a joke, right, on Instagram. They said, y'all be having a problem with people using the N-word. And he said, yo, but you don't understand that anything could be a nigga. I could go outside and my car not working that day. This motherfucking nigga don't want to fucking work today. This. Anybody could be a nigga, because everybody is like that. And I'm saying the way he broke it down was crazy though. He was like, yeah, I gotta stop looking at it like that. And
I'm not mad at them, man, because they come in
a place
where, again, like I said, like they don't share. They don't share. And shout out to Michael Love. I like that. That's what we call in the chat from here on out. What it do, everyone at the lunch table. Everybody in the chat, that's the lunch table.
I like that.
Mike,
I like that. I like that. I like that.
Fire, Matt. Mike. So
like
the lunch table. So again, culture is a movement of land. It's not a movement of skin. It's not about skin. It's about land, right? So the land you share with people, that determines how y'all talk to each other. Now, again, I'm not saying Tom or anybody else in Texas, you should let one of the homies from here come down and talk to you a certain way. I'm telling you, this is our relationship. Hip hop is different depending on where you are, right? The lingo, the fashion is a little different. The slang, everything about it is a little different. But New York taught us how to express ourselves artistically and put it together. And it's our job to represent our cultural scenes collectively. That's it, right? That's it. We supposed to represent ours without impeding on what New York did.
Sure.
Right? It's supposed to look a little different. So street urban culture is very much, and it does only grow in urban areas, right? Where there's tons of people, right? Because that creates a movement of people.
All you will get from that point on, if it's not from the urban community like that, all you're gonna get is an imitation of what it looks like in the urban community. It's not. That's for what you're saying right there. You know what I'm saying? What you're saying.
But this is something else I want to talk about, because the first thing people start doing is talking about suburbs. And I'm like, no, it doesn't grow in the suburbs, right? But that don't mean it doesn't spread to the suburbs.
Reach to the suburbs,
Again, I've had this conversation ample times. Carson is a bordering neighborhood of Compton. It's a bordering city. It spreads over there. Those people have to unite to protect themselves from this trauma of these people. So they pick up all the same behaviors. Now, it's not as many gangs in Carson as there is in Compton, but there are gangs in Carson. It's a decent amount. And they will kill you. You know what I mean? Like, they will protect their way of life seriously because they have to, because they right here. But now if you go to Cerritos, there aren't any because they're not bordering an urban community. As far as just, let's say, LA street urban culture, right? That people call gangbanging. So again, it's like street urban culture. It doesn't mean that it can only grow in the ghetto, right? There's no reason for a wealthy man to make tacos. A wealthy Mexican man would not need to make tacos. Tacos are a poor, like, I know we all enjoy tacos, bro, but it's not about they're so good. We came up with the idea because they were delicious. They never tasted them first. It was people making do. They were taking what they had in these shells and this material and this little bit of meat and putting it together to make a filling meal for a few people. You get what I'm saying? Like spaghetti, like the sauce in spaghetti is old vegetables, right? And they put it together and put it over a cheap like mass, right?
Gravy.
Pasta.
That's why, like we were talking with Steele the other day, like Steele pretends that he knows steaks.
Yes.
Skirt steak and the meats, the cuts that are used in carne asada, you never see medium rare carne asada.
No.
Because it's not that cut. It's the scrap cut. So they cook it thoroughly. They get a robust sauce on there, etc. End of story. But like that's
a little chef over there, huh? A little chef right there, man.
Everybody on here can cook at the table. Everybody here can cook.
Tell them, yeah, everybody can cook right here at the lunch table.
That's I see that.
We chef over here.
So
the point I'm saying, so like when you understand hip hop is not about music. And one of the most the worst things that I hear is when people be like, we need to get back to the music. No, we don't. We need to get back to the culture.
We addressed it. Hip hop is an adjective.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shout out to Super Jedi. That's why we sample music. We didn't have instruments, just our parents' record collection. Shout out to Marley Marl, man.
Yeah.
Who made music without it.
Yo, the illest shit though, my OG said, the nigga Rashad said one time, right? The nigga said, Joe, before hip hop, the record player was in the appliance section. He said after hip hop, the record player became an instrument and went over to the music section. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Before that, it was in the appliance section. You know
Ironically, this morning I woke up and was reading about, I've been studying the 7-inch to 45 based off of the movement that I'm about to kick off. We talked about it off air. Yeah. And just looking at how they needed the 7-inch 45 and how they decided to market it. And really the greatest wave of it being in the 70s. Not even before. So, to watch a bunch of brothers who didn't know how to play instruments like Maul, shout out to Maul, who is really the father of it. But having to make music with music, like no instruments, just records and a record player is insane to pace the drums. You know what I mean? To get the right drum loop going and then take the other record and sample that into a machine and then sample a melody and then another melody. That is what street urban is all about, making do. Like if you go to wealthy neighborhoods, they don't have tacos. Why the hell would they have tacos? I don't think you understand this, people. Like hip hop is a make do thing. If you actually had a bunch of really great musicians and orchestras and the best vocal singers in the history, it's just pop music. You can compete at the highest level. Why the hell would you go to what would the point of culture be if people didn't have to make do? That's what it is.
And that's true all the way back. Like jazz came out of an era where you had the means to construct an orchestra with however many pieces. They did it with 3 guys, 4 guys, 4 things, That's a big difference. And that continues, down the line.
Still here. Hip hop is more than just street urban culture. It's multifaceted. No, it's not. Still here. No, it's not. It's not multifaceted. It really is just street urban culture. Like I don't know if people are saying this to believe that that's how they have to include themselves, but it's not multifaceted. No, it's not. It's not. It's not It's not any other culture. It's not It's one particular culture. That's it. Shout out to HJ. I never saw you in the chat. Welcome, brother. Hip hop is controlled by corporations. Big record companies are not owned by black people, yet they have the final say on what gets pumped to the masses. Therefore, there is no culture, just profits. That's what the record.
That's the business.
Rap music
that put out controlled. Records. That has nothing to do with hip hop.
Rap. That's what we said last time. Rap music is the telephone wire. Hip hop's the conversation the two people are having on the phone. Yes, the corporations own the wires and the infrastructure. They don't own the content that is being, transmitted over the medium.
Yeah, y'all don't. You keep
was real.
saying this. And that's just such a lazy take. Tommy T 1025. So can any race be hip hop? Yes.
Yes.
Every last race can be in the streets. There's street urban culture for every race right now.
To ask that question is to say that the people people over in France that's doing hip hop is not hip hop. Then, you know what I'm saying, you would say like they're doing it within their way right there. It's a culture that carries around the world though. You know
like, but again, Southern California street urban culture on this front is shared between. There are Black people that live this way, Asian people that live this way, Mexican people that live this way. There's all kinds of people who live the exact same way. Like there are like when it comes to LA street urban scene, there is a group of we did that song, Diplomatic Treatment. What race, what culture is that called? Hieronym is Hieronym is
it's either
Armenian.
I'll say Armenian or Okinawan. Yeah.
Hieronym is Armenian. They be on Crenshaw. They've been on Crenshaw since I was a teenager. Again, it's not about race. Don't get me wrong. 98% of people since the 70s that have been the star in street urban culture are very much Black people because they moved us there. But again, remember what street urban culture was before Black people could get into urban areas. It was just stories about Al Capone and other people like that. It wasn't really big Black people in the streets come in the 20s, 30s, and 40s.
Gee.
Yes.
Like it is tangented off. Like obviously, like there's a considerable, like an outsized, I would say, to its relative population base, but like Polynesian, footprint in Southern California street urban culture. But like I went to a champagne party for this girl's little brother in Compton like years ago. Yes. And they had a guy, you probably know who he is, little dude with long hair from Guam with a clean old school, on hydraulics. I didn't know if you knew him from the scene at all.
I'm saying I don't know, but I'm saying
I know from the car world if you knew who he was. He had a legendary car.
The gang Roddy Ricch is from, Park Village, their gang originally was 50% Samoan folks and 50% Black people. Park Village, the actual unit that he's talking about, where they get their name from, is next to the Wilmington Arms. That was all huts where Samoan people live in the center of Compton. And everybody lived the exact same way. So it's nothing about race. I don't know how we get stuck on race in this conversation, but that's fine too. So Still Here asked me to define street urban culture. Densely populated, crime-ridden, influenced culture. Densely populated, crime-ridden, influenced culture.
Of a lower tax bracket type of variety.
Yes, the crime influenced the culture. It's not everybody in that world is criminals. It influences the culture. It could be crimes against humanity, like bad education programs where people they're not educated with the correct way to speak English. So they form slang to communicate. Yeah, it's just crazy. Shout out to my boy Craze. Anybody who says hip hop is multifaceted is not hip hop. Because it's not. I think you're trying to figure out a way into it. Shout out to Shatif, my brother from DC. First off, thank you for that $5. Oh, I forgot to tell y'all, the super chat is open. You can go in the corner, buy us some lunch at this lunch table. You feel me? We up in here having this fly conversation. No Ceilings Live, the lunch hour. Shatif kicked it up, got us a hamburger. Feel me? No Ceilings Live, the lunch hour every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Pacific Standard Time, right here on Digital Soapbox. Click that thumbs up button. Let everybody know you here. Again, we do this live stream to support the No Ceilings podcast. The description below has a link to it. Subscribe to the No Ceilings podcast on Apple Podcasts, iHeart Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. No Ceilings podcast, executive produced by Charlamagne the God, Black Effect Network, and iHeart. Shout out to Shati. People have rap industry and hip hop confused, and they do. Yeah. There is an industry of rap records that has nothing to do with hip hop. Records never determine what's cool to the culture. Now, to mainstream people, if rap music is telling you what's cool, you probably are not in the culture. Like no lie. Like if the first time you heard of this stuff is within the culture, is within rap songs, you, my friend, may not be a part of the culture. You know what I'm saying? Now, look, if you picking
there's
up
a certain
flame,
Jeff Foxworthy, you might be a redneck if routine that could like spur out of that.
Yeah. So again, it's like it's weird to keep watching these conversations. It's weird to watch these conversations happen and people not get it. Hip hop is street urban culture. Street urban culture can bleed over to suburbs.
People just
can't start there. It just can't start there.
It just can't
Yeah,
start.
it's not going to originate. You can replicate, it's not going to originate.
Yeah, we
And
don't
people
have
just-
words that we use that come from the suburbs. None of us in the hood say tubular. That's not something that worked out in the hood. We didn't take that. We left that with Pete Homeboys. Like that's their thing. Tubular, gnarly.
Tubular is crazy. I never heard that word used a day in my life.
Me neither. But I know
Me
people
neither.
use it. But again, that you can't
It's a
get on
surfer
rap
term
record and be like
for-
tubular and thinking that's gonna hit, even though it could if the right
In the waves.
culture person used it.
Yeah, like if you in the barrel of a wave, you in the tube. I'm assuming it has to be
tubular.
out of that. You know,
So
what I
it's
mean?
tubular.
I would assume
Totally
that's- yeah.
tubular.
Tubular, bro.
I think I might bring that over to hip hop though.
That'd be
Yeah,
fun.
Gnarly.
That'd be
I
fun.
can figure out a way for it to work. I figure out a way for it to work. 'Cause
People
I'm
just need
hip-hop.
just be happy with where you're at. You know,
That's
if like I'm not hip hop, I'm happy to be adjacent, have a nice time. I want to be out the club at 1:45 and safely home by 2. I don't want to be kicking in the parking lot till 2:30, pretending I'm hip hop and riding out of there on a cot. Nah, I'm happy to be out at 1:45.
145.
Shout out to Name Brand. Hold up, this the legend. I gotta answer the legend. Sadat, what's up with you, OG? Hello? Okay. I'm getting calls from Sadat X. I feel really. This is why you can't convince me I'm not hip hop. This is why you can't. You feel me? Like, yeah. Shout out to Name Brand, a regular at the lunch table. What's up, Name? If you ain't know what Squabble Up was before Kendrick, you probably not hip. That's fair.
Sure.
I know you heard the term squabble. If you thought squabble was like, by definition, like a argument between two people, like a quarrel, you feel me? You probably not hip hop. Like if now I'm not saying you had to quite know the whole idea of squabble, but you should at least knew that probably was a fight to some degree.
I kind of can't go within that because we won't know, like you won't know everything that we refer to. You know what I'm saying? Over here, like we say shoot the 5.
I know, but even if I didn't know quite the full, I knew that's a fight.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Now I'm not saying I quite get what's going on. I mean, we talked about this with Illmatic. I can't say I quite know what's going on, but I can make enough sense out of it to know to place it. If squabble is foreign to you, you for sure probably are not hip hop. Like if you like squabble, what are those guys talking
Scrabble?
about?
You talking about Scrabble?
Scrabble, yeah, the game. Scrabble Up.
Scrabble.
If you went and bought a Scrabble set,
Scrabble Up,
you might not be hip hop. Shout out to the homie Big Chunk. Big Chunk, I'm glad you here, brother. Man, this is the No Ceilings Live lunch hour, and you at the lunch table. Make sure y'all make noise at that lunch table in them chats, man. Shout out to David Jones. You're overestimating white lingo, or maybe I'm not. White lingo, some of the stuff from white lingo, some suburban lingo did bleed over, but very.
Give me an example. I want an example of what bled
I just
over
can't
to
think. What's suburban lingo that?
I never heard nobody say rad.
It's a word I remember hearing. That crossed over.
Pete, help us out. Pete, what's up?
Pete don't got.
I'm trying to think of something.
I'm trying to think of something too. I can't think of none. It definitely did though.
You got to have some idea what a squabble up is. Like you got to know something. Shout out to the homie Revenge. My boy been at the lunch table every lunch for a while. Squabble up, Custard, that part. So again, when we're saying, I know people keep using this term, the culture, but that culture looks different depending on where you're at. But one thing is suburban culture. Now I get it. Everybody wants to bring up. Some dude was telling me Tupac. I'm like, Tupac is not from the suburbs. I'm not saying Tupac was a criminal. Crime written influences the culture. So Tupac was influenced by the same culture as said criminals. Now, if he committed crimes, it's different. Raps and art don't make you commit crimes. The desire to get ahead make you commit crimes where we from.
It's a fact.
Shout out to Still Here. Hip hop developed to be more than crime influenced culture. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. Still Here. No, it did not develop into be more influenced than crime. No, it didn't. It just didn't. That's the revolting part of it. It's not just crime that the natives commit. It's the crime against humanity to the people there. The fact they are deprived of simple liberties in America. Like, this is what develops the culture. See, the crime part is the confusion. Listen to the song, The Message. They're not talking about committing crimes. They're talking about crimes happening around them. So no, hip hop has never developed past this. Rap has become something that everybody uses. And rap existed before hip hop, but everybody uses it. You know, it's how you deliver a message. Now, we did make it popular. I give hip hop that credit. Shout out to all them legends that did the hard work and the heavy lifting to make rap popular. But everybody rapping does not make them a part of hip hop, even from inception. Debbie Harry has a rap on a Blondie song, Rapture. Rap exists, but again, it doesn't mean everything is hip hop. It's just not that. And yes, it's never developed more. It's never going to be more. And that's the problem when you start trying to take something. I don't understand what the desire is to evolve it past this. Y'all did the same shit with rock and roll, and now it's not another black person in it. Stop stealing. God damn.
They did it with every genre of music. They did it with
still
jazz. They did it with rock. They did it with blue. They did it with everything though. But see, that's the one thing about hip hop is that we standing so strong and not letting them infiltrate us and take it away from us because it's such a strong culture that we built from the ground. You know what I'm saying that right there.
Shout out to my boy V. Shout out to my boy V cooking at the lunch table. Boy V over here. Boy V over here like the Japanese steakhouse. He done took the, you know how you go to the Japanese steakhouse, Peter, you cook on it. V cooking like that. Hip hop is a tree that grows in street, urban, crime-ridden communities. It may shade the suburbs, but it does not grow there. So Little Dicky is not hip hop, but Jelly Roll is, even though he exactly.
Wow.
Even though he doesn't do rap. Even though he doesn't do rap.
Boy, serve it all up to everybody. Rice, sir. I want the combination: chicken, shrimp, cuz.
He just flipped a shrimp into
his
hat.
Shrimp and the nigga, you know how they flip the shrimp in your mouth and shit, and nigga the onion volcano. Be cooking like that, bro. I see you.
I just want to make one edit, even though he doesn't do rap.
Because rap doesn't have. Mary J. Blige is hip hop.
Yeah.
Nate Dogg is hip hop.
Nate Dogg
never rapped a verse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sound like Frank Sinatra.
Hip hop is just something that you wake up being. It ain't something that you put on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You wake up being hip hop, man. Word.
Shout out to Mario Paulo. I never saw you in at the lunch table, but I'm glad you're here, brother. I hope you enjoying the food. You cannot generalize hip hop. Therefore, it's impossible to be culture itself. It may represent a part of it, but how do you confine it to culture itself? Because it is. Mario, everybody does not have to have it. You got to stop finding a way. Listen, the evil. Here's a story.
Get out the club at 1:45 and
here's a story. There's a story in the Bible about the Tower of Babel when men tried to come together and not allow land to separate them. They did one of the most atrocious acts in religious history, building a tower to God. You're not being dope trying to be falsely inclusive. It's not dope. You're not helping the world by being falsely inclusive. Like, you have to be inclusive at an honest and transparent level. So yes, hip hop therefore can be generalized. That's the problem. Yes, it can. But because everybody wants a take in it for no reason outside of their own personal reason, even though it'd be detrimental for the people that was created for, you keep making weird excuses up. You don't have to do that. You see what happened to rock and roll. I know y'all don't care. I know y'all don't care. I know you don't care that rock and roll pretty much moved every brother out to space, and now one label will not finance a black rock group to say they like. I know you don't care what happened to jazz. I know you don't care. You're like, well, I don't care. The music is just the music. No, it's not. This is something that them brothers in New York created that saved my life personally. It saved my life. I wanted to save other people's life personally.
You could have just started playing jazz.
Shit, I wouldn't have got no budget. Kenny G messed that up for everybody. Shout out to D Lawless. I never seen you at the lunch table, but I'm glad you cooking. D Lawless says, but that is long gone. I said it a long time ago. Once it was no longer the voice of the voiceless. Once it was, now it's no longer the voice of the, it still is. The fact that you keep listening to all this rap music and thinking that it has to be hip hop is the problem. There is tons of hip hop out there. Tons. You're not listening to it because it has no social currency to it. Lawless. That's why you don't hear it. Everything, social media has got y'all so messed up that everything you do, somebody else needs to vouch for it, to validate it. That's the confusion. That's the confusion. Believing, right, that, oh, it needs to, you know, it needs to, everybody need, no, they don't. No, they don't need, everybody don't need to be in it. No, they don't. No, they don't. And can continue to be the voice of the voiceless. Now, listen, I understand you making your whole thing. I understand you make it your whole thing. I get it. You like, you know what? I like it. I want to be a part of it. I love Mexican food. I love tacos. They're my favorite. I love ceviche. I love abundigas. Shout out to my boy, the Bomb Fish Tacos. Y'all look him up on Instagram. Go show him some love. Tell him Glasses sent you. Just go leave a caption on this post. Some of the greatest fish and shrimp tacos you'll ever eat. Right? This Mexican man is so cold. He made a Philly, a spicy Philly torta. Like a Philly cheesesteak. A Philly torta. Spicy. Listen, I can't wait to go get it. This Mexican man be whipping. He get busy. Shout out to the homie at the Bomb Fish Tacos. I love his food. Just because I love his food, I do not have to become Mexican. I can't become Mexican because I'm not born in Mexico. I love Mexican food. All my friends, my whole life, shout out to my homeboy Mondo, shout out to my homeboy Mando, shout out to the G homie Fern from Mona Park. They my guys. 117, the big homie Looney, all the homies, like legends, Mexicans. They my guys. I will blow your head off over some of these guys. That don't make me Mexican. Pete is my partner. I hurt you over Pete. I am not Italian. I love spaghetti. It's delicious. It doesn't make me Italian.
You can cook it too.
I love going to Flatbush. Flatbush is genuinely my second home. I hang out in Flatbush and it's love and homies is like, gee, what's up? New York, I go to Staten Island and it's love. I'm with the Brims, the Bloods. They like, gee, we popping. I love them. I love going to Queens, to the Coliseum. I love New York. It don't make me a New York guy. You can love things without being a part of them. Yeah. You don't have to. I don't have to become Italian to enjoy spaghetti or ravioli or lasagna. I can just enjoy them. You don't have to be a part. Stop making your personal desires destroy something that means something for somebody else. It means a lot more. Like spaghetti means more to those poor Italian people that created than it does for me to act like I'm Italian because I enjoy spaghetti. Yes, spaghetti has grown. Yes, there is a soul spaghetti. They call it spaghettro. Spaghetto. You know what I mean? They call
spaghetto.
It when they cook the, brothers get it. Brothers, shout out to the black folks. The one thing we know how to do is We know how to make it a little bit more flavorful.
Spaghetto is crazy.
More high blood pressure because it's way
Put
more.
that sugar up in it.
I was gonna say take out the basil and put in the seasoning salt.
The sugar.
Right? It's not the seasoning. They cook the damn noodles in the sauce.
Uh-huh.
That don't impact the flavor. It's got that
spaghetto,
southernish flavor profile with
paprika.
There's paprika in the.
But this is the desire to pursue flavors. They cook it in the sauce.
Yeah.
Like if you tried to serve spaghetti the way Italian people would be mad. Black people be mad as hell. Like, why the hell?
Sauce on top of it.
Sauce on top.
No one been mad at me. I've never had a plate I served went over poorly. Not one time.
No,
one of these days, I'm gonna invade your kitchen. One of these years.
I got you.
I'll be like,
we got
this is for the. I'm just going. This just for the record. This is. There's an example, just for the record.
Yeah. Right. So, right, and how we do it. It don't mean we make Italian food
at all.
We could call it spaghetti. It don't make us Italian. Like you can enjoy hip hop. You got to stop trying to grow it so it includes you. I don't never try to grow Mexican culture to include me. You know what me and the Mexicans, homie, share? We share LA street urban culture. That's enough.
Sure.
I don't have to enjoy Mexican food. Again, I don't have to be Mexican to enjoy Mexican food.
And Drake learned the lesson here that is true universally in this concept. That's all fine if you do that, but at some point in time, that road will reach a cul-de-sac. If you push it far enough, at some point it will be addressed. Hey, you should have probably got off 2 stops before. You don't really live here. This is the truth.
It's weird because the truth is, in that particular brother's situation, he knows. But because he
everybody knows.
Yeah, but they don't know. Because again, this is a lot of people's idea and journey that they think will take them into hip-hop. Oh, he represents us. No, he fucking doesn't. He doesn't represent you. No, he doesn't.
They know, and because they know, they try to redefine the truth so that they no longer have to know.
Shout out to Malik Davis. I think I seen you at the lunch table once. Welcome back.
Yeah,
Pac was not multifaceted. He was just an artist that was black. He probably the epitome of hip hop, raised by Panthers and touched the hood everywhere he was located because it was in his soul. Malik, I think that's the closest thing we could come to saying somebody's multifaceted when they understand multiple cultures. He understood the New York street urban culture, the Baltimore street urban culture, Jersey, even though they're close. He understood Los Angeles street urban culture. He was getting an understanding of Oakland and the Bay Area street urban culture. You feel me? That would be the closest to making it multifaceted, where you start to understand multiple cultures and you could use the lingo from all these places. Like you start to spend time experiencing the culture. That's it. So again, it's like, I don't want to make this about Aubrey, dog. Like I said 6-7 years ago, he wasn't hip hop. It wasn't with malice. Everybody likes Drake. Drake is right now, he's making the greatest fool of himself. Before this, he never did all this cornball shit, but he used to do some cornball shit, but nothing bad. Like, and shout out to the hip hop minds that always blocked it. I never had nothing bad to say about him. I don't have nothing bad to say about him now, except now that he's doing some corny shit. But it's not about good or bad. It's about protecting something that people from the ghetto need. This is something that brothers from New York created to help people liberate their minds, you know what I mean, express themselves when we had no other way to do it. This is created for that. Stop. Everybody don't need this to express themselves. There's a million ways. There were TV shows about suburban brothers since the 80s. There are TV shows. I always say there were TV shows. I always said Kanye West was the tippy top last part of where hip hop was at. He's Eddie Winslow.
You ain't Theo Huxtable?
No, he's Eddie Winslow.
Eddie Winslow. Okay.
Yeah, we said that on the
A
show
long
a
time
couple years
ago.
ago. Yeah.
Kanye is Eddie Winslow. There were always shows about suburban black life. Eddie Winslow is hip-hop.
You know, that means, quite frankly, that Drake is the alter ego character of Urkel when he would like change his outfit.
Stephon.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Stephon.
Michael Love for the $10. Again, the super chat is open. If I didn't remind y'all can buy us lunch. Shout out to Michael Love for $10. I blame Glasses for not coming up with the name for the chat, and he calls himself a lyricist. I call myself a storyteller.
Yeah,
Mike.
we no longer owe Glasses an apology like last episode.
Look, I don't call myself a lyricist. I call myself a storyteller.
Yeah.
That's where I hang my hat. I lyrically am nice, but that is not where I carry myself in my skill set. I carry myself as a storyteller. I'm always looking to tell the most important. One of my goals is to tell the most important story in the history of hip hop. Like that's one of my driving force. I want to tell the greatest story in hip hop. If I had a goal, that would be the goal. Shout out to Red Rose Pedal Glasses. You are appreciated. Y'all are appreciated too. Y'all keep the lunch table. It's popping. You feel me? Shout out to Shatif, Eddie Winslow. I know it's funny, Shatif, but think about it. Kanye is Eddie Winslow.
Absolutely true.
It's like dead on. Like Eddie Winslow was not unfamiliar with the street. He knew what was happening, but his parents did a great job of keeping him out of the elements.
Yeah.
He's Eddie Winslow. And it just happened to be that they were in Chicago as well. That's crazy when you think about it.
Yeah.
Was Family Matters in Chicago?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. Look, it was in San Francisco too with Full House.
Shout out to Revenge for making a great point. That's not exclusive to hip hop, though. That's American music genres, including culture. Yes. But the difference with hip hop is the only one that leads culture first, then music.
This is
so
why
we don't need to get back to the music to make hip hop great, right? We need to get back to the culture. Get off the internet culture.
And this
get back to you got to go outside.
Turn the computer off. Turn the computer off.
Shout out to the homie Kai Sanad, who said he was scared to go outside, so he played his game and da. You got to stop being scared. You got to go outside. Like if you want to represent, remember, hip hop is like you're like the elected delegate of a community. You're like the elected delegate, bro. So you have, it's a must, right? It's a must that you go outside and digest what's going on. You cannot be scared of your surroundings. Go outside. That's where hip hop lives. It's outside your front door.
Yeah.
So a person can't become hip hop without actually they can't learn it through the TV or the computer. You have to actually be in it.
School,
I'll say this first
at home,
firsthand.
Neighborhood. Go ahead, Pete.
Yeah.
Such a and honestly, because it was like my first time really being in that environment full time, not for the day. It was so much different, like living in Oakland, and I didn't really appreciate it until I went out to the suburbs for the day and came back at night.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this is the difference. Anybody can go to Walnut Creek for the day. When you come back at night, like that's and then the whole experience, like the whole that changed a lot of perspective for me. And then anything else besides that, but on an adjacent point, like for as far as culture and genre goes, right now, this is my prediction, and I don't even listen to the kind of music, but you can observe there is a massive cultural inflation of country music happening right now. It's gonna kill the genre. It's gonna kill.
They'll never let it happen.
It's happened.
Oh,
it's happening.
Well, he's right. The record companies are pushing it. That they can't stop it. They can fight it and say it's not country, but the record labels are selling it.
It's gonna blow itself
still in
up.
the space.
It's gonna blow itself up.
It's gonna be interesting for sure.
I'm just saying that because I feel like that's the thing that country music did different than what we did. You know what I'm saying? Country music made sure they had gatekeepers there for real. And if it wasn't up to their standards, of what they wanted they genre to be like, they wasn't accepting. They wasn't letting that shit in. Just like they're not letting Beyonce into shit. I'm
That's not
surprised
true
letting
though.
that.
They are
What you
letting
mean?
Beyonce in.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
Oh,
Dolly
they are.
Parton doing something with Beyonce
She
is
performed
important.
at the
Dolly
the
Parton
shit.
did something with Whitney Houston. Like
No,
come on,
they didn't do anything. She let her sample
cover her song
for 100% of the publishing. She's actually endorsing Beyonce.
And here's like within a huge portion of white America's like right now having like this weird out of body experience where they're trying to like pretend that like they're trying to live outside of the confines of their own surroundings. So they're going out to or getting houses in the mountains or whatever it might be, trying to live this earthy rural experience or whatever the hell. And it's taking people that aren't from that experience and bringing them into that environment, even as on the creator side, and it's blown up. Country music was not the only alternative. I feel like there's hip hop and R&B and country music, and that's kind of it. There's not like a third party anymore. They kind of gobbled up rock music after that died, and they did the same thing to that. It's on that same path. I mean, 7-8 years from now, it's gonna have like popped like a bubble, like a tech bubble.
Yeah, they did. He's right. They did use Taylor Swift. They use they use the culture because country music is a culture as well. They use culture to get people in the doors to build simple followings. Then they launch them into a pop atmosphere like Taylor Swift. Shout out to Michael Love. Thanks for the $5 again. Anyone could get it at the lunch table. All love, fellas. Keep rocking. You right about that. The lunch table is where it's at. Shout out to David Jones. So long as you move with respect to the culture, there is no issue. I don't see the importance of being in or out so long as you follow that first step. Facts, my boy.
Yeah.
Shout out to D Lawless, but glasses, it's all industry now. Of course there's underground, but it's industry made. No, it's not. You keep confusing the industry making and marketing rap records with hip hop. Again, yes, they can make a telephone, but they can never control the conversation. They just made the telephone is not special. The conversation is special. Pete just said that.
All they own is the platforms. That's why they're called media distribution companies. They own the medium, not the content. They buy the content, they can't create it.
They can't create it to save their life. Shout out to Craze. You snapping today, cuz. Real talk. Yeah, we cooking for all of y'all, boy. I'm at this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Give me that part. Shout out to Girl 6. Thank you for the $10. We love you for that. Thanks to all of y'all. This is my third time here. I love this conversation around gatekeeping hip hop. We got to protect it a little bit more. Girl 6, thank you for that $10.
Just so we're all clear, there's a line right there between me and Trap and Glasses and the screen. That's the gate. That's the fence line right there. See it? I'm on this side of the fence. You guys are on the other side of the fence. We've got a fence.
You got it. We got
Trump ain't the only one building the gate. We gotta keep a gate. Gotta be gate, man. We gotta put up a gate. Like I get it. I it's something dope. I feel the same way about Mexican food. Mexican food is so delicious, bro. Like it's so, oh man, it's unbelievably great.
I like Mexican food so much in California. That shit is crazy.
I love it.
Out there.
It is my favorite food.
Compared to like other parts, like
why?
Down here.
Why?
That's why I had to.
It's delicious.
It ain't better than Dominican food.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
I live in Little.
Can't tell you that because
I tell you off the Dykeman right now.
I live in Little Santo Domingo. It says Little Santo Domingo on the wall, 7 foot high, 200 yards from my building.
And Mexican food is better than that?
Oh yeah.
Shout out to Jonathan Devia. Glasses.
Mexican women. No.
I never seen John. I never seen John at the lunch table. Welcome to the lunch table, my boy. Glasses, we need a backstage pass giveaway to the GNX tour and SoFi. Please pick me. I got you. I'll get one and we'll auction it off.
Well, that was fucking easy.
Lunch out.
That's
a good idea. I'll be like, give me one so I can lunch.
Turn the TV off. Turn the TV off.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out to D Lawless. Country does not go worldwide like hip hop has. That is a lie.
No, I don't know.
Lawless,
they ain't making no country. They ain't making no country music in Germany.
Goes worldwide. Why?
They not making country music in Germany.
You don't do Garth Brooks numbers domestically.
Listen,
period.
Country music is worldwide.
Look at how
No,
broad
it's
the
not.
cowboy is.
Bro, hip hop people don't even
Pacific
do
Rim-
numbers like country.
The Pacific
Nobody
Rim
in
got
hip
hooked
hop
on
ever sold
nicotine
30 million
because of
records.
cowboy
What are you
imagery.
doing, Trap?
Bro, that's why the reason why that happened. That's all domestic. That's all here, B. They buy it here. That shit don't
Ain't
go out.
nobody sold 30-minute worldwide in hip
They
hop.
not listening to country music in France, B.
Yes, they
Bro,
are.
Look at
No,
the
they
tours.
not.
What
Look
are
at the
you
tours.
talking about?
Is Cowboys in France?
Look,
Yes. What
as
are you
much
They
as
not listening to
Trap?
country music in Africa.
Yes.
it's
No, they not.
age. Look at the tours. Look at the tour dates.
Trap, y'all can't
Look
be
at the
this
tour dates.
delusional. We can't be this hood that we delusional.
Look at the tour dates.
That's an
We
American
can't be this
thing, B.
delusional.
That's an American thing.
We
You don't think so?
cannot be this
don't think
delusional, bro. You
No,
cannot be this
I don't even
delusional.
like that shit. And no.
Middle America, bro. Middle America supports country music, bro.
Listen,
That's
Look
what
at the
it
tours.
is.
shout out to G Corleone, my homeboy from
Look at
West LA. What's up, baby? Thank you for the $5. This your first time at the lunch table, too. Welcome, man. We cooking. Shout out to everyone on the platform. If it wasn't for hip hop, no telling where I'd be. I'm trying to tell him, G.
That's a fact.
I'm trying to tell him what it did for us. Yes, country music. Again, the super chats is open. This is No Ceilings Live, the lunch hour. We passed the hour, so take your phone back to your desk, put your earphones back in. You know, we're gonna cook a little bit longer. Make sure you get some of this mental food, this brain food.
Garth Brooks has a decade of international tours.
I don't know why we entertaining this. This is just ridiculous.
Garth Brooks. You name one person, bro.
There is nobody in hip
How
hop.
many of them
that
do
ever
I
sold
know?
records as Garth Brooks. What are you doing? No, Tupac ain't sold as many records
Give
as
me
Garth
another
Brooks.
guy to look up.
I don't know.
Whoever sold the most records never sold as many Garth Brooks.
I think I don't know. I feel as if country music is an American genre that stays within America. I don't think they really listen to
Of
country
course,
music.
it goes outside of America.
America.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Okay. The same way Spanish or Mexican, whatever music, Spanish or reggaeton, whatever comes over to America. It's their music, but it could leak over here that you have people over here
Leak
listening
over
to
here,
it.
they have some of the biggest records in the world over here.
You know, I'm telling you, bro. It's country music
Yes,
is an
it is.
American-based
You are
music
tripping,
that leaks
Trap.
over there.
You are tripping, Trap. They're selling
Okay.
records worldwide.
Let me look this up right now, real quick.
All American culture. Shout out to Mario Paulo. Again, man, thank you for being at the lunch table. You know, get some tough skin. It's gonna be dope. Where should people draw the line? Because where does the border start and end? Like you said, eating Italian food doesn't make you Italian. You're raised in hip hop culture. It's something you're raised in. Like it kind of just becomes your life. It may not be at your house. It may not be outside your front door, but when you go to school, it's right there. Not the music, the way people are communicating with each other, the way people are dressing, the way people treat each other. The culture is there. Not the music. The music is everywhere. Tupac sold 10 million albums. He went diamond on All Eyes on Me. That means America as a whole was buying it. So it was in every city in America. But I'm saying when the culture is there, not the music, the culture, the way people are talking, they keep in track. You know what I'm saying? It's different. That's where the line is drawn. If you're not raised in street urban culture, then you're not hip hop. Now, again, I'm not saying you have to grow up in the same ghettos. That's not what I'm saying. Because again, Carson is not a ghetto. But because that tree shades over there, that the Compton tree grows up and shades all the way over there, a lot of them dudes is bathed in the culture and they will really, give you the treatment. So again, that's where you draw the line at. If you're not bred in this, it doesn't make sense to you. So even somebody like LL Cool J, an original that comes from a working class community in Queens, the schools they went to, people else, like he didn't have to go nothing but a block over and you was going to see the culture. So even though it didn't come in his house per se, because he's at that generation where hip hop, he pretty much, him, Ice-T, Too Short, they pretty much, created hip hop, the records we know, the way we see it. He could go a block over and his people. His school had guys from the culture right there. So again, he is the culture. That's the trick.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I see it.
Shout out to Reality Check. The numbers are documented. It's easy to look up Google country. That trap tripping. I don't know what. You know what? Also,
it says it's growing. It's growing over to the UK. I've read it right now, and it's the last couple of years. It's been like, so I'm thinking about it like, I'm not thinking about it as a recent. I'm thinking about it like 2016. It was 2%. To this year, this last year was 36%. Meaning like, as you know what I'm saying, how many people was consuming it outside of America like that? Though?
Sure. But it's also in comparison to the like country music does incredible here.
And that's part of what I was saying with regard to like the inflation of the genre in that regard. It's like ballooning out.
Yeah, you was right. You're right. I can say when I'm wrong. You're right. I got it.
Shout out to Rome DeCarlo. What about black rural culture? People like Big Crit, David Banner. Stop saying the word black in front of these things.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean, Rome?
White person saying that.
Give me Rome. Don't use the term black because it's disingenuous. Like
I can't tell.
We always share with other people. Like we always share community with other people. But again, like I think that's the thing, right? When you start talking about street in general, because where they're from, it may not be urban, but it's rural street.
Yeah. And my favorite rap albums, some of my favorite rap albums of all time are self-described country rap tunes, not hip-hop records.
That part right there.
Exactly.
That part right there, country rap tunes. Shout out to Thug Coding. Culture is science and technology and knowledge that moves a people forward. The supreme wisdom speaks of the duty of a civilized man. That's a great point. But again, backing down a little bit off of it, feel me? The knowledge of these things. This is why this moves us forward. Communication moves us forward. That's why slang is important. Fashion moves us forward in identification. Again, these things go deep. And shout out to Thug Coding for saying, teach civilization to the uncivilized. The confusion is that where we come from is uncivilized. Yeah. That's not true. It's all in order. Don't let the news fool you. Oh, we know why that person got shot. He did something. So again, don't confuse the ghetto like it's this uncivilized place. That's not true. Peter tell you he's been there. It's very much order. And if you get out of the order, they will get rid of you.
That's why I like it. It's predictable.
It's very predictable. It is very predictable.
It's like, what was that line in Goodfellas? So-and-so went to, they got caught because they wanted to get caught. He went to prison because he wanted to get away from his wife.
Shout out to my niece, Dejanay, the natural beauty therapist. I love when people know their role. You can shine.
Is she a dominatrix?
No.
I'm just joking.
That's Niecy right there. What up, niece?
I hope not. I don't think so. She is a powerful woman, so she might be on the slide, and I just don't know it. Culture is one's way of life. Yes, it is.
Yep.
That is what it is. No Sinners Live, the lunch hour. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Pacific Standard Time, right here, Digital Soapbox. Click that thumbs up button. Let everybody know you here. Go in the description. Subscribe to the No Ceilings podcast on Apple Podcasts, iHeart Podcasts, or anywhere you get your podcasts. No Ceilings podcast, executive produced by Charlemagne the God, the Black Effect Network, and iHeart. And make sure you tap in.
I figured out what internet search illuminates the internationality of country music. Line dancing, Japan.
Wow.
And they really got that too.
Wow.
Shout out to Para. And as always, my guy Twine Mac, man, till it's over.
Yeah, man. Yo, listen.
Till I'm chilling with him. You feel me?
So
again.
today is December 4th. And my man Twine Mac used to say this shit all the time. He used to say, yo, how dare y'all talk like that 3 months before the God's birthday, B? And now it's the God's birthday.
Jay-Z, man.
He used to always say that shit. How dare y'all talk like that 6 months before the God's birthday?
That's funny. Yeah. That's funny. That guy was great.
Shout out to Carter Williams. Glasses came to Casa Grande and supported rural rap. Of course I did.
Man, Casa Grande, if you know what the fuck time it is, Casa Grande is the Port Arthur of the Western United States.
Say it again. Say it again.
Casagrande is the Port Arthur of the Western United States. If you know what's up, you know what's up.
You know what's
It
up.
don't
If
get
you
no
ever
hotter
get to
than
the
that.
Grand,
I know Casagrande as a name from West Phoenix.
Shout out to Lawless. It's like Chuck D speaking with the militant mind and E40 with the slang. We get the best of both worlds. And both are very much militant minds. They refuse to take the example that this world is trying to give us. They're not accepting the treatment of people, themselves, their communities, and however we go about it, whether we Chuck D, where it's more of a legal approach of what's right and wrong, but revolting against a system. That is inspired by the street life we live. Or is E40 saying, I'm going to reject poverty. And I don't care if people want to buy this, I will sell it to them to make sure that I am not poor. It's all the same revolt of people that come from the culture deciding that they are not going to take and just play with the cards that were dealt to them. They're going to make their own future. Straight up. Shout out to Carter Williams, ghettos everywhere. They are, but they're not as many as you think. And that's what makes hip hop special. It's not that many ghettos. It just feels like there's a lot. That's why people don't know what the hell we be talking about till you get a catchy song.
Yeah.
First time I heard of a sideshow, I thought it was a circus reference. That's a true story.
Shout out to Shatif, Double Down, Long Live Twine Mac. That part
Long
right there.
live.
And it's the
Man.
God's birthday today, baby. Happy C-Day Jay-Z. Shout out to Kelvin. Casagrande is the hood, not too far from me. You damn right it is.
It's the
That
price.
is I like that. That is the Port Arthur of the West.
It's the price line separating point.
Shout out to my man Gene. Thank you for the $10. Again, I forgot to say the super chat is wide open. If y'all want to buy some lunch, it's a little $sign in the bottom of the YouTube comments. Click that thing. Buy some lunch. We eating. So we cooking for y'all right now. We feeding y'all right now. Thank you, Gene, for that $10.
Yeah.
Shout out to Still Here. This was a great episode. Man, Still Here. The lunch table get a little crazy because we passionate, but it is a place to be. It is very much
and we happy
most
still
intelligent
here.
minds on YouTube and the most open minds to information. Shout out to Nate, Yump, FTP, fight the power equals F the police. Exactly. Shout out to Demetrius, still here in Chicago watching. Man, much love. Thank you for being at the lunch table. I know it's a little late for y'all over there, about 4 o'clock, but we still cooking. You feel me? So we serving up. We're gonna cook a little bit more. Anything else we need to go over with this hip-hop thing? I'm so disgusted at having to keep saying this because some of this stuff is crazy. Some of this stuff is crazy. Oh yeah, shout out to Squishy. Say G, tell Trap to hit me for a shirt. She made these fire Twine Mac shirts.
Oh
Me
yeah,
and Teeth
definitely.
Yeah, Teeth in the
Yeah, I
chat.
need that.
Y'all reach out to Squishy. She on Twitter. She made some fire shirts.
Send me that info. I definitely need that.
I got
Send
you.
me that info.
So do we got it all worked out? Just because it's street urban culture, it doesn't mean the person they don't have to live in the ghetto. The culture can spread outside of the ghetto. People can live with it because we share schools, we share experiences, all of the above. We share all of that. So it's you don't have to just grow up in the ghetto, right? But the ghetto, it's the only place where the culture can grow. Like, you don't have to live in Colombia to get cocaine. They ship it here. But just because you ship it here don't mean you actually know how to grow cocaine.
And just because you're a coke addict in the suburbs doesn't make you Colombian. Just because you got a deviated septum in Irvine does not mean you're from Medellin.
Shout out to Sergio Acosta. What up, G? He said, what does that say? Oh, Ace Pit here. Much love, Brody. Yeah, man. Shout out to the Ace Pit. And Drake is a pop star, you said. Always have been. He's always been marketed as a pop artist. Shout out to my brother Gino from the CPT Compton in the house. I broke my toe, cuz. Well, thank you for that $5, man. We got to send you some ice for that motherfucker.
You can't put no cast on a broke toe. That shit is crazy.
He means that literally. That's not some sort of expression, right?
You gotta put a boot on.
Do they break it back and then you just put a boot on?
They gotta break it back and you gotta just go.
I don't know.
No cast for a toe.
Had to drill a pin like down a long way.
They had to draw a screw through there. That would be.
Person I knew had
what they had to do to you, Gino? Shout out to the homie Malik Davis. Thank you for that $5, my boy. I appreciate you being at the lunch table. Just wanted to show love.
like
Man, well, much love back to you, dog. We got
that Gucci Muppet.
Yeah, we're gonna have to start giving. Oh, the Gucci Muppet is kind of
his picture.
Yeah, that is player.
That's fire.
Gucci Muppet got the beanie on too with the frame.
Right. Got the Soldier Boy on.
Yeah, that's player. So again, no sitters live to lunch hour. We finna step out of here. If anything is, I hope y'all got this final understanding of hip hop. We don't have to keep talking about this. Please,
it's over.
I'm done.
Final exams tomorrow.
Over. Nah, you talk about again tomorrow. Friday.
Friday. One more day.
Friday. One more day. One more day. Rest of the week.
You know what I could get? Forgive me, Disco. Forgive me, Disco King Mario. I could talk about this shit forever.
Forever and ever.
Forgive me, Jam Master Jay. I could talk about this thing forever.
Please.
Forgive me,
Big.
He
doesn't mean it. He doesn't mean it. He did
but
not
at least
mean it,
I would like to elevate the thought of conversation. We cannot be having these baseline conversations about street urban culture. Shout out to the homie K. Protect Dot on tour. These weirdos in Toronto and Houston talking crazy. That's all they gonna do is talk.
Chatty patties.
The day we're afraid of Canadians is a sad day.
That's it.
Chatty patties.
And we not all that
They're
talk.
gonna be in Blue Jay Stadium.
We coming to get that coin. We're gonna talk this talk, and that's the end of it. Ain't no look. That's over. And if they want to keep playing, over. We just gonna make it bad for everybody.
That's it.
They gonna make it bad for everybody. Shout out to Lawless. Hey, G, come to Boston. I'll take you to Brassica Kitchen plus Cafe. They do a waffle taco, my G. That sound low key.
A waffle taco? Y'all be out of hand with shit.
No, because look, if you take a waffle, right? If you take a waffle and then you put eggs in it, or like a link, little parsley, that might be kind of fire.
You could probably make that work with
the it's crazy.
Chorizo.
Remember they make
a donut. I like the donut burger they had. Remember they had a donut burger with two glazed donuts and a burger in between the shit. Like
that was an attempted hit on somebody.
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird.
Trying to put them out of here.
Nick, I ain't see you all day, Nick. Welcome back to the lunch table. Nick, Serge Aubrey is a Jewish folk singer. I'm crying.
Yo, that's crazy.
I best not play. That man gonna hurt himself, man. Shout out to Squishy. I think people are listening to rebuttal instead of listening to understand. You're not talking in circles. Thanks, Squish, because they got me think I'm losing my mind. Shout out to official boss Selena. Thank you for the $5. A1 since day one. Great content as always, man. We trying to have some real conversations for sure. Yep. Shout out to my niece. Hey, Trap.
What's up? What's up, niece?
Hey,
we gotta get on the spaces though, man. We gotta get on spaces.
No, let's go on spaces today at 2.
Right, let's go today. Let's go today.
Like 2:30.
I gotta do something. I gotta do something for the for what's the name on Club. Everybody, and it's Suka birthday too. So
happy birthday, Suka! One of my favorite contributors to ADHD. So you want to do it at like 2 or 3? We on Twitter?
Yeah, it's a fact. Let's do it.
Okay, we gonna. So again, if y'all follow us from Twitter or if you follow us from YouTube, go follow me on Twitter at G Malone. We're gonna do a spaces. My niece is gonna be there, and we're gonna just keep this conversation going and just having fun and tapping in while we got the time and enjoying each other. Shout out to Gene. As long as you don't put sugar on grits, you have to. That's the only way to eat cereal. All cereal is sweet. There's not a cereal that's not sweet.
You put syrup on grits.
Grits is a cereal. All cereals are sweet.
So you put syrup on grits?
No, sugar.
Oh, no. That's fajita. No, you don't do that. You don't do that. No, you don't.
That's the only way you eat grits.
He's right. No.
Only glazed seasoned grits.
That's called fajita. That's fajita.
No.
Farina. That's farina.
No, that's not. All grits. Grits
are cheese on grits. Put cheese and butter on grits.
No, you do not. You do not put cheese on cereal.
Sugar on grits.
You do not put cheese on cereal. It's a hot cereal.
That's only because that's because white people put it in the wrong section of the grocery store.
No, they put it in the right section.
The wrong section.
That's farina, B. That's farina. It's not
cream
grits.
of wheat and grits are a very long way
from oatmeal is cereal. All cereals are sweet. You know what?
No.
Y'all don't deserve sugar, bro.
No.
Grits don't deserve sugar. They didn't do nothing to nobody.
Yes, they did.
Exactly.
You know why? You know why they deserve sugar? You know why they deserve sugar? because they're in a damn cereal aisle.
It don't matter.
Shout out to LK from the Bay. The recipe on the box says add sugar.
Yo, LK, cut that shit out, LK.
LML.
Don't put no damn sugar on the grits,
Yes,
LK.
you do.
You're messing it up. No.
Sugar on grits is the only way you're supposed to be
That
eating.
is shameful.
Why the hell would you season a grit? You nasty, horrible person.
Cheese, salt, butter. That's it. That's
Pepper.
all you
I
need.
put some pepper.
Pepper too. Put pepper, but when you start putting
Shout out
sugar
to
on
Scott
it,
T. So you put cheese in your cream of wheat too, huh?
Cream of wheat is not
Hell
grits. That's
no.
why it's called
Why
cream of
not?
wheat.
Why not? It's
hell
cream of
no.
corn.
Put no cheese and no cream of wheat.
Grits is
Tati,
just
you
corn.
putting sugar in your
So why not just
Tati,
start
you
putting
better
cheese on your?
stop.
Why not put cheese on your Cheerios?
Put sugar on your corn?
put sugar on your corn?
Why not? What do you? Of course,
Why not?
Corn is sugar.
man.
Exactly.
So what the hell are y'all
Why are
talking
you putting?
Yo,
why
that
are you,
is-
why
that
are you
is-
putting
yo,
sugar
Tati,
on
that's
high
not for life there, man. You
fructose
don't
corn
do that
syrup?
right there, man.
Bro, what is going on, bro?
Mm-mm.
Y'all just get worse and
That
worse.
is
all the
shame.
time.
That is
Every
bad.
time I
Put
think-
sugar on your
every
eggs too, I guess.
Everything I don't. Every time, because eggs are not cereal. Every time I think y'all learning something, y'all just say some crazy shit.
What happened to all the bread?
Why the
I'm
hell
loving
would
it.
you sweeten? Why would you not sweeten a cereal?
It's not a cereal.
It's a cereal.
It's not a cereal.
Porridges are cereal.
No, they're porridges.
Yo,
Those
bro.
would be called cereal.
Oatmeal, you can put sugar in oatmeal. You can put sugar
put
in
sugar
on
on
cream of
all-
wheat, farina.
It's like a balance.
You know what?
Corn
That's
is
what we're gonna
already
do.
sugar heavy. Wheat
That's
is
what we're
not.
gonna do Friday. Get your stats together. I'm gonna get my stats.
You ever heard of high fructose wheat syrup? I
Yes.
haven't.
Y'all get y'all facts together. I'm gonna get my facts together, and we gonna have this out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna film this live from Eloise and Ernestine's. We're gonna settle this with some professionals.
Yeah. That's crazy. Sugar